respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp khối cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Thịnh chuyên diệu vào lưng giao đau ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, thức chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sananto Suchedo Ye Ela Hodi San Miao San Puto Ye. Nam mô Tạc Đạc Tà Tự Già Đà Già A La Hà Đề Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Gu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa ba hít qian wan jie nan zao yu wo jin jie wen de shou chi Yuan Jie Ru Lai Zheng Shi Yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Sixth Jing Liang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，弥陀佛。 Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa thượng Tiên Hoa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện tri thức ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 15th of March 2024. We're here at Gold Forest to discuss the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. We are right now on slide 776. Thank you all for joining us. Okay, he's discussing the classification of the whole Buddha Dharma that was given to us by the Buddha. And we, this group of individuals, Dharma masters, who advocated dividing, classifying the teachings into 5 types. And this is the last group. And there are 2 representatives. The first one is this monk here. We talked about it last week. We're continuing. His name was Prabhaka Ramitra. Sounds like a name of a British actress. And so the first teaching we talked about last time was the Hinayana teaching, the 4 truths. Okay, he went through that, and now where we are. 776, 2, the teaching of marklessness, that is all prajna. 3, the teaching of contemplating and practicing. That is a flower adornment sutra.
2. 无相教，为诸般若等。3. 观行教，为华严经。
Okay. 777. The second group of Buddhist teaching according to this Prakaraka something is the teaching of marklessness. When you hear the key word markless, it refers to emptiness, the teaching of emptiness. Emptiness, markless meaning anything that you perceive with your sense organs, your 6 sense organs, the eyes, the ears, the nose, and so forth. Okay? They are all empty. What does it mean? That red car there is empty. I tell myself all the time. To no avail. Okay? So one day, when I understand the second teaching here of marklessness, then what does it mean? Then the red car is empty. There you go. I mean, a red car is the same as Toyota. Okay? You got it. Okay? And therefore, what does it mean? Next layer of wisdom. Why do you talk about emptiness? Come on, folks. What happened to all your Buddhist training? What you learned all these years? All this time? What does it mean, empty? What does it mean something is empty? Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. That means no attachment.
No attachment. Empty means no attachment. Sounds right to me. Yeah? Empty meaning if something is empty, this thing is empty, meaning it's not real. The Chinese has a saying, 一切都是假的. Everything is false. Empty, false, same thing. Okay? Same concept. Empty is the Buddhist jargon. False is more commonly used. False, meaning it's not true. What you are so attached to is you're attaching to the false. Meaning what? The proof is in our lives. When I was married, I was very attached to my beautiful wife. Now I don't want to look at her photo. It's not the same woman anymore. What's so funny? It hurts. What do you mean? Haven't you had true love before? Okay, so we are attached to marks. We're attached to the externals that are changing constantly, and they eventually will disappear. And that's why they're empty. Whatever you see, okay, is just the outside, but inside is empty, meaning it doesn't have a substance. It doesn't last. Your love, your attachment does not last. You attach to your dog, the dog will die, and you have to replace the dog with another dog or another cat. Okay? That's attachment for you. Because the dogs are empty. And that's not suffering to you? Huh? Why are you so attached to empty things? And you tell me it's not suffering to you? You're only torturing yourself. Whatever you're attached to is no longer the same with the passage of time. And what we're doing is we're fooling ourselves, attaching to this image that's in our brains. You got that? See, we look at the marks outside and we like it. And we choose, our ego, the seventh consciousness chooses to attach to it. And then I say, this, every time I think of my wife, I still do, it's the same. There's an image there. Okay? And so your ego, your seventh consciousness, every time we think of our wife, it brings up this 40-year-old photo of hers. I could apply to husbands too, by the way, just in case you're wondering. Okay? Or partner, whatever you want to call that person. Okay? We are flexible. Okay? And so that's what happens to us. This is, I am going to the kind of top secret details that we know in a Pentagon. We don't reveal to you. Okay? I think the Buddhist Pentagon, that is not American Pentagon. Okay? And so what happens to us is that we're fooling ourselves. Our ego says, I don't care. I still see this person in my mind, in my eyes, my mind's eye. This is what I see. So that's why we like to call it eternal love. Hopefully romantic. The men here are so boring. No wonder you're in trouble. Okay? And so that's a function of the ego, of confusion. The ego selectively fills in the blanks. Okay? And it helps, actually, it helps. I find it very helpful. It's much easier to look at old photos. Sometimes. Anything to say, sir? Amazing. And it's a nature of our confusion because the ego, he says, I don't care what you say. I don't care what's the truth. I still like this. And we call it devotion. We call it loyalty. Okay? So there's plus and minuses. So why do, in Buddhism, what we teach it is emptiness. It's empty because it's false. It's empty, it's false, because it's created by a figment of our ego, of our imagination. Why do I sound like a preacher? Repent! Okay? And so that's why we learn about emptiness, because it's a reminder that it doesn't have substance. What we are attached to, what we deem so important in our lives, is basically not real. How depressing. So what are we to do with life? Well, first lesson, sir, is that life is suffering. We torment ourselves. You see that? Don't blame it on our husbands, ladies. Okay? You choose to torment yourself. We can't help ourselves. We lose our hair constantly. Look at Jung. You see, he's had a little bit more hair than I do. Okay, it's on the way. So you see, so it's hard to accept this. Okay, and that's why it takes a lot of blessings for you to be able to see that and stop tormenting yourself. Truth is that's not for everyone, this kind of wisdom, because most of us prefer to be happy in our mind. Okay? So it takes a lot of blessings to be able to accept the concept of marklessness or emptiness. Emptiness means that don't be attached. So far, so good. I'm sorry it took too long to explain to you about emptiness. And what's the next level? If you know that you don't be attached, what does it mean? Don't be attached. What does it mean? Yes, Sixer.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it. Because that's how you torment yourself. Your ego insists on thinking about it. It won't listen. It wants to think about it. It enjoys thinking about it. It says, this is my life, none of your business. Sounds familiar? Or, in your world, I'm woman. I'm trying to teach my boys, but they don't seem to pay attention. They're women, meaning they can do anything they want. Okay, so you don't think about it, and that's how you stop suffering, tormenting yourself. Suffering, it's interesting. Suffering fundamentally is self-torture. We choose to suffer according to the male Buddhist wisdom. By choice. Yeah. And look at how proud he is. I do it by choice. Sue me. He said, go ahead, sue me. I still want to do it. Okay? All right. Okay. And it's not just marklessness, but also if you take marklessness to the ultimate, it becomes prajna. What happened to the Hinayana people is that they learn to not attach to things, external things, but they still attached to the concept of non-attachment. That's why they cannot have real wisdom. They have only partial wisdom. They can drop it, but they cannot drop the concept of even dropping. That's the ultimate wisdom. What they have is partial wisdom. Okay? And it's fantastic. That's why they're so attached to it. They don't realize that once you reach that, okay, you go further, it's even more fantastic. It becomes wonderful. It's not fantastic, but it becomes wonderful. When you talk to Hinayana practitioners, Arhats, Pratyeka Buddhas, they say it's fantastic. But they cannot have a notion of wonders. Prajna is this is the secret, okay, Buddha's secret. If you buy into this concept of emptiness and keep on emptying it, what does emptying mean? Don't think about it. Even if the thought arises in your mind, ignore it. It will popping up, ignore it. Pop up, ignore it. Okay? That's emptiness training. Yes, too.
Master, does I guess like focusing on like Buddha's name for recitation in a single-minded way, does that also count as not thinking about it?
Are you thinking about Buddha's name? Why is it not thinking about it? Reciting the Buddha's name is only one technique for us to teach you and bring you into marklessness. If you recite the Buddha's name, depending on the methodology you use, I haven't transmitted to you the methodology of contemplating the sound. One in, okay? And you do that, or I teach you contemplating the navel, okay, contemplating like in some cases, some methodologies, like contemplating a statue. You take a statue of Buddha, like this, Amitabha Buddha, look at it, and you say, Emitofuo, Emitofuo, and you look at the statue. Okay? And when you do that, that's just a methodology. You keep on doing that, wonderful things happen that the Pure Land people, the Pure Land teachers did not explain to you. Or the Tibetan don't explain to you. Okay? So you do that. There's something that happened there, okay, that eventually will bring you to understand marklessness. It's a methodology that brings you to marklessness. That's reciting Buddha's name, reciting Tibetan mantra, Hua To. All those are Dharma doors or expedients for you to experience marklessness. So, for example, what his question is typical of the people. They say, I recite the Buddha's name, and then what? How do I go to marklessness? As a proof that all those people who practice it is because they still think about, they still are not near marklessness. That's why they still don't understand. So that's why ultimately the 5 schools in China, secret school, Chan, what else? Shorty, what else is there?
Vinaya?
Vinaya, what else?
Sutra?
Sutra, what else?
I don't know.
Pure Land. My God, you're Asian. How can you not know this? Okay, all the 5 schools, all those are simply expedients for you to get to marklessness. That's why once you use any school, any method to get to marklessness, you understand all 5 schools. So that's what happened to Master Hsuan. He used mantras. He recited mantras and mantras day in, day out. So he recited, Namo and so forth. He recited all sorts of mantras, or the hands and eyes, tempo, 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 for me. Lotto, lotto, lotto. All those things, okay, it works, but it works better when you recite the number 1. Don't recite lotto, lotto, lotto. Okay. So you recite it, okay, those are basically expedients, tools for you to bring you to marklessness. So that's what Master Hsuan did. He recited the hands and eyes. Okay? Not all of them, like 42 like you, like we told you to do. We want to do it harder, okay? He only recited a handful. Okay? And so he recited all 42, and that's why your accomplishment will be a lot bigger than his. Okay? Empty, empty, marklessness. Okay? Okay, so it's important to understand that that's how he got there. He never really was taught Chan, but he then turned around and taught Chan and taught Pure Land, because once you get to the top, all 5 schools converge to the same spot. Once you get there, you can understand how to get there, that's all. You understand everything is just expedient to bring you to marklessness. So that's why the people, the teachers who are not up there yet, they're stuck on, I'm Chan, I am, yeah, you can get pretty high up there, but if you haven't got to the top yet, okay, well, all the 5 schools merge into one. That's why you discriminate. You're still discriminating. You're still attached to what you understand so far, okay? That's why your marklessness is not complete. Yes, they're enlightened, but they're still not quite, okay? Not quite ultimate enlightenment of the Buddha yet. That's why they are, they still, I'm just Chan, or I'm just Pure Land, or I'm just mantras, or I'm just Vinaya, or I'm just teaching school. Okay? Next. And so my tip to you, for you, is prasya here. For you Hinayana people, and for you who don't understand what I'm talking about, Hinayana and Mahayana. Mahayana is basic Hinayana, taking to the extreme. The Hinayana stopped too soon. Okay? So how is that translated into action? Don't stop. Keep going. That's all. It's that simple. Don't stop. There's still more wonderful things that you discover if you do not stop. That's all. There's a lot more and more and more and more. Okay? Next 3, the teaching of contemplating and practicing. And that is the Flower Adornment Sutra. Okay? So for this particular Indian monk here, the Flower Adornment Sutra is about contemplating and practicing. I don't know why he calls that. It's kind of weird. Okay, so here he's revealing his scholarly attachments. Okay, because Flower Adornment Sutra is not about contemplating and practicing. Okay, it's a lot more. 778. For the teaching of peace and bliss, that is a Nirvana Sutra, because it speaks of permanence and bliss.
4. 安乐教为涅盘经说常乐故。
Okay. And so 779, the fourth type of teaching, according to this Indian monk, okay, is a teaching of peace and bliss. And he calls it, he gets the concept from Nirvana Sutra, only because he's Indian. The Chinese would call it what? Pure Land, peace and bliss. An Le. Okay, so that's, you see the Indian bias. Yeah? They don't understand peace and bliss. Peace and bliss is actually the Pure Land, but he says it's Nirvana. Why? Because to him, according on principle, Nirvana, okay, and you need to memorize this again, has 4 virtues, 4 characteristics of Nirvana, which means that you can experience this while you're still breathing. Nirvana is not like you have to wait until you die to experience this. If you feel you're suffering, for example, those of us who feel we're suffering, and those of us who don't feel we're suffering, forget this, okay? But those of us who feel we're suffering, then we can learn how to enter Nirvana. Because when you enter Nirvana, here's what you experience. Bliss. Permanence. Will never change. If you really love your wife, I will go here. Because your wife will never change. Your love is forever. And then true self. And it's the true self that's important. It's your true self who loves your wife. He's still not impressed. And purity. Okay, so this is what happens. And this is the point here, is that in the Buddhist practice, and it's not spelled out when Master Shah explained it to us, is that the Nirvana thing here is a place where you will experience these things yourself. So you can enter Nirvana, experience it, and then exit. It's a club. It's a private club, like that fancy place in the airports where you need to have membership to get in. You know what they're saying nowadays? I was so impressed. They have these clubs in LAX where you can go in there if you like. I'm not advocating the Chase Diamond card, whatever that thing is, okay? You have to be, paying a lot of money to have an annual membership, and you go in there for free. And if you want even fancier things, okay, it costs you $10,000. That's Nirvana to me. Because I never be able to afford it. Okay, so that's what regular people think of Nirvana. That's my point. I know some of you start looking at me, why are you so cheap and no class and so forth? I know, it's okay. But nirvana here, we are talking about here, is the kind of experience that you can choose. For example, if it becomes so unbearable, you miss her so much, I enter nirvana. I would choose to enter nirvana instead of tormenting myself. And the difference between us and Hinayana people is that they suffer, they know the suffering, and they can go into this nirvana thing here. I swear to God. I mean, it's true. They can choose to enter nirvana. But then they said, why should I go back to my wife? For us, we enter nirvana so that we recalibrate ourselves and come back and love our wife more. Finally, someone appreciates my Dharma talk. A romantic. No wonder the rest of you are in trouble. Okay, so my point here is that it's not theory. It is taking control of your life instead of being a victim of your suffering. Because when you suffer, they become unbearable. Okay? So that's why this is a process where once you understand this process, when it's too much suffering, it's too depressing, like the last few days for me. I went and saw a building, and I felt so depressed yesterday. I forgot to enter nirvana, that's why. I would if I could. YouTube question.
Thank you, Master.
I hate it when I learn the way that I learned from a Chinese and the Vietnamese and a Korean. It's very stuffy. They said, nirvana is like, peace and bliss and whatever. I said, come on, man, lighten up. YouTube.
It's actually a comment from Diego Alfonso.
Hola.
Emitofuo Master. Emitofuo Master, I remember you said once that once you enter nirvana, you can't go out.
Did I say that? Don't you hate it when people quote you and say, and now my only excuse is, did I say that? Can I change my mind? Let's ignore Diego's question for a while. And Diego, don't translate into Spanish anymore because you're making me look bad. Go ahead, JMT.
그 마스터의 인스트럭션을 체크해야 될 필요성을 느꼈어요. 마스터께서 아시아 참선 때 말씀하셨던 메시지는 알아들었고요. 네, 일단 여기까지.
Master, I want to check Master's instruction. I understand what you said to me in the previous lecture.
Okay.
제가 체크하고 싶은 마스터 인스트럭션은 뭐 예를 들어서 구체적으로 설명을 하면 그러니까 바로 본론으로 들어가라. 그러니까 예를 들면 상우승 여기서 다시 할게요. 제가 예전 같으면 질문을 어떻게 했을 거냐면 뭐 다른 시스템에서 법을 위해서 뭐 마스터한테 기여하셨던 조계종 스님들께서 뭐 예부를 제대로 배운 적이 없는 상황에서 바쁜 스케줄을 따라하고 열심히 하려고 노력하시는 부분은 아는데 일단 여기까지 한번 할게요.
So I want to check the instruction. Specifically, you said to go and just to say straightforward. So, for example, if I in the past
I might say that the snims comes from different system, and they are trying to learn the ceremony, but I understand that they are very busy.
네, 예, 이게 그렇게 되게 힘드신 상황에서도 열심히 하시려고 노력하시는 부분은 잘 아는데 저는 현재 소화가 안 되는 이런 번뇌를 가지고 있다. 이렇게 질문을 드렸을 거예요. 예전 같으면 제가.
I understand their hard situation. They are trying to learn, but I have such an objection. So in the past, I might question like this.
근데 이제 마스터께서 바로 본론으로 들어가라고 하셨고 설명하라고 하지 마시니까 제가 그렇게 질문을 하다 보니까 주변에 저랑 가까웠던 사람들이 당황스러워하고 불쾌해하니까 제가 마스터 인스트럭션을 잘못 이행하고 있는 건지 아니면 이렇게 불편한 상황을 마주해야 되는 건지 제가 제 마스터 인스트럭션을 제대로 하고 이해하고 있는지를 질문드립니다.
So Master said to speak the main point and don't explain too much. So I follow your instruction, and then people feel very uncomfortable to me. So should I follow your instruction or should I face the uncomfortable situation?
마스터께서 조금만 기분 나쁘게 하라는 말뜻은 알아들었어요. 제가.
I understand that you said that do not offend people not too much. I understand that.
Truthfully speaking, I feel very uncomfortable talking about this. What can we do in this case here? I've never had to deal with such a difficult case. When she does it too much, I tell her to stop. And she feels better, and a month later she comes back and says, now I have this problem when I stop. She talks too much, I said, 4 sentences. She does 4 sentences, and then people complain too. Xian would you come up, bring a chair up here and tell them again what's your message? Can we circulate that video, please? Master Xian before she came up to go first, okay, had been prepped accordingly. And she came here carrying a message, very profound message. Xian, would you take a break, come up here, and demonstrate to this profound message here, relay the profound message, please? Would you like to do that? No? Do you dare? Okay, we spare her. She has to translate the rest of the lecture. Why? Anyway, what are we to do with you? Okay, but seriously, she's illustrating the principle of the middle way. When you do too much, people complain. When you do little, people complain. You do middle, people complain. So what else is new? Okay, so what are you to do? Next instruction. Don't worry, I have a solution for everything. Okay, next instruction, okay? Bear it. When you say too much, people complain, bear it. Okay? When you say too little, people complain, bear it. When you say just about right, bear it. Okay? Whether people complain or not. Bear, bear, bear.
마스터 제가 마스터랑 뭐 XC랑 마스터지를 존경하게 된 게 결국엔 가르쳐주고 깨닫게 해주시는데 다 각자 위치성에서 불평을 하더라고요. 그래서 제가 그 부분 때문에 안 그래도 존경하게 됐고요. 중도를 찾기 위해서 노력하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Master, I respect you and Master C and Master G.
Only the males? You don't respect my females? What?
They try to teach and try to help enlightenment, but people complain. But I try to follow your instruction and keep the middle way.
Okay. Very good. You understand, all of you? I'm joking. I mean, you know, we don't have to be so serious about a serious matter. Okay? My point here is that you still have this attachment. What's her problem? Never mind about her. Let's talk about among ourselves. What's this Korean lady's problem? Come on. Master Z. He's the only one in DTT. We spend so much money buying a big church there, and there's only him there. So what's her problem? She only trusts you, not our nuns. And she's fighting my instructions. Help her.
Master, I think she thinks too much.
She thinks too
She
much.
thinks too much. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that me?
Is that me? I'm hearing myself.
Okay. Anyone else? Master Old Monk, she also obeys you. I can't ask any nuns now.
Như là Phật, con không biết cái tóm tắt là cái vấn đề cô này là cái gì, nhưng mà cổ cái tính là cái gì xảy ra thì cổ nghĩ cái cách để đương đầu với cái đó, đương đầu với cái trong hãng của mình. Cho nên cái đó nó giống như mình quánh với cái trong trống hoặc cái chừng nào xong.
Oh my God, I'm impressed. Don't translate. Continue. Nói tiếp đi. We're going to discuss in Vietnamese only.
Đã dịch đi thì bây giờ cái kinh nghiệm của con đó, bất cứ tốt xấu xảy ra đó, tin tưởng tuyệt đối vào tác Quan Thế Âm, cái niệm danh hiệu Ngài giống thầy nói một cái pháp hồi nãy vậy đó, hoặc niệm danh hiệu Phật hoặc là cái gì đó, tự nhiên cái mầu nhiệm nó xảy ra thôi. Nó xảy ra một cách rất là hay.
Wow.
Còn mình cứ chạy theo ý nghĩ mình thích thầy này, thích thầy kia, ghét người này, ghét kia, hoặc là cô quốc cơ thế này thế nọ đó. Giống như người đánh với trong trống, đánh hoài chừng nào cho xong. Bây giờ cứ biết rồi vọng tưởng thì bây giờ mình làm không có nổi. Thì niệm danh hiệu của Tác Quan Âm và trì chú, tất cả các chú nào mình thích đó, đeo vô.
Nói tiếp đi. Nói tiếp, đừng ngừng lại, nói tiếp đi. Nửa tiếng nữa. Nói đi. Nói tiếp đi, hay lắm. I guess he chooses to talk. Go ahead, translate.
Emitofuo, Master. So I think that I don't know about her problem, but say it in a short way. I think her problem is just like she's still thinking of a way to cope with the things happening around. her. So it's just like you are spinning the pinwheel. And so to me, whenever we have a problem, just recite Kuan Yin Bodhisattvas or the Buddha's or Bodhisattva's name. But just to keep thinking about other people hating you or so, it's just like you just spin the pinwheel. When is that going to end? Just trying to focus on reciting the Buddha names or maintaining a mantra. And that's all.
You got it, Jumi? Do you understand? Okay. Anyone else would like, any nun would like to tell her anything? Equal opportunity here at our Dharma. Calling all the nuns. How would you help? What would you like to explain to Jumi to help her with this problem? Let me call just anyone here. Xian An. Is she there? I know Xian An is next, but Xian An always has a theory about everything. Xian An disappeared. Okay. Xian An. Now she's scratching her head. Can't hear you. Xian An will speak on behalf of all the nuns. No pressure.
지금 제게 떠오르는 것은 바다에 파도가 끊임없이 밀려오는데 그 파도 하나하나에 대해서 끊임없이 사라지는 이미 밀려와서 사라지는 파도뿐만 아니라 파도 그 다음에 밀려오는 파도 그 다음에 밀려오는 파도에 대해서 끊임없이 생각하는 그런 상황인 것 같습니다. 그냥 바다는 파도가 밀려와서 사라지고 밀려와서 사라진 것뿐인데 그것에 대해서 그 모든 파도에 대해서 생각하는 그런 모습인 것 같습니다.
It reminds me of the wave in the sea. The wave comes continuously, but she thinks the one of each wave continuously. The wave come and disappear, but she keep thinking about it. So it's a natural thing. So she think about everything.
Impressive. Xian An, it's very good. It's very good. Excellent. Actually, I'm serious. It's very profound. It's very good. Excellent. Hey, you know what, Xian An? From now on, you'll be in charge of Jumi. Teach Jumi until she becomes enlightened. Okay, you have so far the best description of the problem. So now we have a new position, Xian An, Jumi Program Director. Go ahead, say your after your appointment, say something, Director.
저는 지금 보라선언에 있습니다. 감사합니다.
You're welcome.
I'm at JC now. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else would like to say anything? We're open to everyone now, men, women alike. Child. cats, dogs, I don't care. You see the progression? Let me tell you, hey, listen, you teachers out there, I want you to notice this, okay? Jumi went from saying too much, which drives everyone crazy, okay? Right? Notice. And then she listened to the instruction, and then she said so little, which drove everyone crazy. But here it sounds like it's the same thing, but actually it's a different problem, isn't it? Driving everyone crazy, what's the difference? She drove everyone crazy for half an hour, and she drove everyone crazy for 5 minutes. Huge difference. I know I'm joking, but I want you to be serious about this for a moment, please. I know it's too late for that, but okay, you see that? I see that as improvement. Okay, so what do I teach her now? Middleweight. You got that, Jumi? Middleweight. Meaning what? You offend a little bit more. Okay? Why? You can do that if you understand, like Master O. Abbott says, your problem, he almost got it. He's like 90% of your problem. Your problem is that what? What is your problem? I forgot. What's the problem again? Diego, what did I say in the past? Do you remember? The problem that deep down she has, the Jumi has, is that she needs and she doesn't like to be disapproved. She wants to be approved. And when you disapprove of her, you complain to her, it pains her a lot more than you guys realize. It torments her to the point where she drives her husband crazy. Is that true? Ask her husband. I'm not asking the wife. Yes or no? Let's see how measured the husband's words will be. Let me tell you. See? See? I told you. Translation.
Yes, it's true.
She's hurt. She wants approval. When she doesn't get approval, it really hurts her deep. And she takes it out on her poor husband. Loyal, romantic husband. You think I'm joking? That's what her problem is. All I'm doing is pointing it out to her. Here, you talk too much, cut it back. Talk too little, cut it back. Okay? Increase a little bit more. So, doesn't matter what I tell her to do, she's ultimately, okay, too much, too little, middle, she's still suffering because the problem is not the words. Doesn't matter whether she speaks too much, speaks too blunt, too direct or not, she ultimately wants you to like her. If you don't like her, it bothers her. That's what I help her discover. All these are just expedients. Remember? It's just expedient. Do this, do that. Eventually, you have to face yourself. Your real problem is that you want approval. And therefore, how are we going to fix this? Master, all abbot says recite one Yi's name. That's one way. Meaning what? When he tells you, and I want you to remember this, Diego, San Diego. And you can quote me on this. Okay? When Master O Abbot tells you to recite one Yi's name, what does it really mean?
제가 X씨께서 말씀하셨던 뜻을 이해하기로는 생각이 일어날 때마다 자르고 관세음보살 연불에 집중하라고 그렇게 이해했습니다.
As far as I understand, when the thought arises, cut it out and concentrate on the recitation.
Okay, very good. And what would that do?
X씨께서 말씀하시는 관세음보살 연불을 하겠습니다.
I recite Guanim's name.
When you do that, this is the process. When it bothers you, whether it's too much, whether it's too little, whether it's just right for me. Okay? I like 4 sentences. 4 children. 4 is a magic number for me. Okay? I admit. Okay? I'm attached to 4. 4 everything. Okay? But that's me. Anyway, I have my suffering. Okay? So, when you suffer because you realize people disapprove of you, you're not getting what you want. Not just disapproval. You're not getting the car you want from your husband. Don't get an X3. Get an XM5. What are you thinking? Or I would get a Cayenne S4. Never mind. The Koreans are not into Porsche. And red cars, clearly. Okay. When it bothers you, the old abbot teaches you that you need to have a countermeasure. Recite one Yin's name. Okay? Which means that 2 things that you're doing. Number 1, you're asking one Yin for help because it bothers you. Number 2, that process asking for help and believing that one Yin will help you, can help you, will help you distract you from thinking about your suffering. That's why you will experience relief immediately. Contrast that. And you keep on doing that, eventually you get to the point where your skills are so good that every time you suffer, this ties back to nirvana, folks. You think I've been joking? Yes, I have. It ties back to the concept of nirvana. You recite one Yin's name. I'm explaining to you, okay? When you recite one Yin's name there, okay, that the way the abbot XC that you respect and admire, you follow his instruction, you do that, it's going to work for you because eventually you will enter nirvana simply by doing that. And then you will experience the nirvana, permanent bliss, true self and purity. When you do that, you are no longer bothered when people disapprove of you. Because you can rise above it. Right now, it bothers you because you cannot rise above it. You have nowhere you can hide. But we have the edge, the advantage of when we can't take it anymore, we sneak into nirvana. More or less, like think of a bathroom break or Starbucks breaks. What is it? Cigar break. Okay? So that you take a break from your suffering. Buddhism very practical, folks. But we intend to come back. You need to plan. This is the difference, San Diego. Okay? The difference is San Diego, years ago, I taught you that when you enter nirvana, you cannot get out. It's to scare you. Yes, when you enter nirvana, you have experienced all this permanence, bliss, true self, and purity, and it's fantastic. Okay? But there's a danger. You like it too much. That's why now I'm teaching you. You should plan to go to nirvana, but come back to your loving husband. Before, I was teaching you about emptiness, marklessness. Now I'm teaching you about marklessness and romance. Who did that? Understand? It's incremental. You see, honestly, seriously, I thank you for following the instructions and harassing me this long. Okay? But we joking a lot, but let me assure you, okay, you're progressing along and you will someday experience the nirvana that this slide 779 is talking about. That's a promise. Okay? And the problem you have, again, is that it bothers you right now, the acceptance in not being liked and people criticizing you. That's, you're no different from most Koreans. Most Koreans are afraid to be criticized and want to be accepted. Okay? When you cultivate this process, you will rise above it, and the suffering no longer bothers you. Okay? That's when you can help people. Right now, you can't help people because your problem is that when you suffer, you can't take it. And you, like most Koreans I know, would go to the temple and call on Master XZ, and me to make it go away for you. We can do it for you only temporarily. Okay? We'd rather teach you how to develop the skills for you to free yourself from it and not dependent on us. You're too poor anyway. Jae Hyung, have you got that? The suffering is part of life. If you see the suffering, shut up, let me talk. When you suffer, okay, don't run away. It's part of your existence. You run away, you go home, you go anywhere, ashram, anywhere else, the suffering follows you. That's all.
Yes, Master.
Didn't sound very convincing. Yeah, okay. Okay, got that? Okay, so this is typical of most of you. You come to the temple and say, I'm suffering, make it go away for me. And again, we develop the skills to help with make it go away for you temporarily, but not permanently. We'll help you make it go away temporarily so that you get some relief, so that you can learn how to handle it yourself. Because we don't want all of you to hang on to our skirts. We have places to go. Please. YouTube question.
Thank you, Master. There is a couple comments and a question. A comment from Diego Alfonso. Emitofuo Master, I think the problem is that Jumi is so afflicted when things are not going her way. That's why she keeps on thinking too much about what other think of her. And
No, Diego, you don't talk to women like that. It's so brutal. You're so afflicted. That's why you want him to go away. No, he said, you are so adorable. Okay, remember that, Diego. Treat your wife properly. And not condescending, you're so adorable. No, mean it. Next.
Another comment is from Tree. Tree said that as someone who has lived with people-pleasing tendencies my whole life, I really feel for Jumi. I found that certain audiobooks, regular therapy, and meditation really helps to move her out of that mindset. Slowly, it becomes less and less. I wish her the best.
And you know any monk who can help her? Which author are we talking about? Jumi, contact Tweet and go find those people.
And another comment from Ding Tai. Don't hang on the skirt. Just walk behind the master.
Yeah. That's abuse, master abuse. Anyone else? You too.
One more. Cordelia. Emitofuo Master, is entering nirvana similar to entering samadhi?
Yes. Nirvana is a sort of samadhi. Very good. Keep it up. Anyone else?
One more question from Jared. Kimur, sorry, I don't know how to say his last name.
We don't know this person, we don't have to answer him. We ask anyway. See if difficult, we don't answer.
What is a good way to deal with narcissists or sociopaths who are predatory and exploitive, unable to feel other people's hurt feelings?
Take him to court. That's what we do in America. We sue him, and sue him, and sue him, and make him pay a lot of money to his lawyers, and sell his assets to post bonds. So quiet here. Most people here are Republicans. They're not even laughing, these people. Narcissist. Why do you have to help them, by the way? I don't get it. Can't we embrace them as narcissists? Why do you have to change people, folks? Why can't you live with them? Why can't you live with Jumi? I like Jumi. I like her the way she is. Too much, too little, too middle? Embrace them. Who asked you to help them? Did they ask you to help? If they didn't ask for help, we should shut up and stay out of the way and accept them as who they are. What is that called? Man, what is that called? I've been teaching you tonight, brainwashing you tonight. What is that called? Take them as who they are. Good thing you just did my gate. What do you... Tung! Have you been listening? This guy's too relaxed. He said, oh. What did I teach you, huh? Ray. What is that called?
The middle way.
Okay, I go to women now. I give up on the men. What did I teach them tonight? You are the most boring. Listen, the listeners in the world. We are coming from Goforth, Silicon Valley, the most boring men. Okay, I would never marry men here in Silicon Valley, as proven by these 5 people here tonight, 6 people here tonight. They're the most boring people. Okay, women, what did I teach them? What did you hear? It's called being romantic. Accept them, take them as they are. What is the matter with you? You're no different from Jumi. Jumi says, like me, approve me. You said, why can't you look young forever? You have the same problem. Take them. Accept them. Don't say only Jumi has a problem. You have the same problem. You say, hey, Jumi says, like me. You says, I need to like you. I need you to be the way I want. It's suffering too. Got that? Does it make sense now? I give up. JMT.
Thầy hỏi là mình khác với cô với vị chỗ nào đó. Thì khi mình thấy người ta đau khổ cũng như mình thôi, thì thầy vừa giảng rồi, cái đó là mình với họ đồng một thể. Họ đau khổ tức là mình đau khổ. Thành ra người ta không, như con cũng vậy nữa, người ta không cần giúp. Nhưng mà con theo trong phẩm Kinh Đại Bi á, Đức Quan Thế Âm nói thấy chúng sanh đau khổ đó, bố thí cho họ một biến chú Đại Bi, hồi hướng phước cho họ. Bằng chứng là trước cửa unit A của cô Liễu ở đó, có con eagle. Sáng nào nó đứng lên đọt cây, nó quay cái lưng lại. Mỗi lần đi qua chánh điện đó thì con cho nó mấy chú Đại Bi. Sau này mỗi lần con đi ngang là nó quay cái ngực, nó nhìn qua mình. Thành ra không phải Đức Phật vô lý mà cả cái phẩm Phổ Môn để dạy mình. Mình gặp tất cứ vấn đề nào thì cái niệm danh hiệu Ngài là đủ rồi, giải quyết tất cả. Hôm qua là chính bằng chứng là ngày hôm qua cả chùa đi viếng cái Botanic Garden ở cách đây khoảng 1 tiếng mấy đồng hồ. Thì xong rồi mới lên cái chùa 1.600 năm tuổi. Thì bước vô chùa thì con thấy tượng Am đứng cách xa chùa khoảng 50 mét. Thì trong kinh có nói là nghe tên hoặc thấy thân, tâm niệm chẳng lún qua. Mặc dù ở ngoài xa, ngoài đất á, mà con vẫn ra con lại. Rồi vô chánh điện mọi người lại Phật, rồi con lại tượng Quan Âm. Thì mấy cô mới nói đây có 32 tướng này là hóa thân Quan Âm á. Thì con lại tiếp. Ngay tức khắc rớt ra một ngôi xá lợi gần gấp đôi cái hạt tiêu màu trắng trước mắt những Phật tử Đại Hàn và chùa của mình và những người khách ở đó. Rõ ràng là nó cảm ứng liền, chứ không phải là nói trong sách, nói cách đây mấy ngàn năm không biết có hay không. Khi con đang lại xuống đó, lăn ra một ngôi màu trắng. Rồi mấy Phật tử Trung Quốc chạy xin chụp hình, cả chùa chụp hình với người ta. Để cho quý vị thấy là cứ tin Quan Âm mà niệm đi thì sẽ có cảm ứng. Còn những điều cô Vô Mì đó, cô này với chồng rất là giỏi. Con qua 6 tháng nay con thấy khuya 4 giờ khuya công phu là bữa nào cũng có mặt và rất là nghiêm túc. Thì cái bệnh của cô lần lần sẽ giải quyết thôi. Xin hết.
Emitofuo, Master. So, Master asked, what's the difference between us and Chumi? So, when I see that other people are suffering, it's just mine. So that is called the same substance. Just like in the Great Compassion Dharani Sutra, which says, Guan Yin Bodhisattva taught us, when you see any living beings that is suffering, just give them one recitation of Great Compassion mantra. Give them the blessing of that recitation. So there is an eagle that usually hanging around Venerable Xian Liao's quarter. Every time I pass by that eagle, I always recite one recitation of Great Compassion mantra and transfer the merit and virtue for the eagle. And one day, that eagle just turned around and looked at me, faced me. Just like the Universal Door chapter, when you recite Guan Yin Bodhisattva name during your suffering, she will come and help you relieve suffering. So yesterday, we went to the Botanic Garden around an hour away from our temple. And we visit that temple. That temple is about 1,600 years old. So when I walked in, there was a Guan Yin statue 500 meter, 600 meter away from me. I saw Guan Yin statue, and based on the sutra saying that when you see the image and you hear of the name, the blessing is not in vain. So the remaining people went to the main Buddha hall. I stay outside and bow to Guan Yin statue. And also there's 32 transformation body of Guan Yin are there. And so every time, so I went and bowed to each statue. And all of a sudden, one relic appeared. It's bigger than the pepper size. And it appeared while I was bowing down, and the people, the Chinese disciples saw that and they took picture. So I see that Chumi and her husband came to the temple and cultivate very diligently. Every 4 o'clock in the morning, they went over for morning ceremony. So just keep doing what you've been doing and bow to the Buddha. Gradually, it will go away. That's all.
Very good. Side comment. I declare my Vietnamese translation is better than before. It's clearer than before. It's not as smooth as before, but it's clearer. Meaning the substance is better. Who cares about wrinkles and gray hair? Go ahead, YouTube.
Thank you, Master. We have a clarification on the question from Jared Kim Nguyen. Actually, I was asking, how can I defend myself from those predatory people? I wish if they can leave me alone. Do I have to bear it, the suffering and loss?
Learn to bear them. Learn to accept them. It starts first with accepting the suffering, and then train yourself to be able to bear more and more and more suffering. Because let me tell you, just personal experience from my ex-wife. As soon as you can bear it, they crank it up. If I had met myself a long time ago, I would have not divorced her. I would say, please abuse me. I'm kidding. Oh, I love my wife. GMT. I assure you, I'm only a rare few monks who admit that he loves his wife. Go ahead, JMT. That's another wife speaking
네,
here.
마스터. 제가 잘 모르지만 예전 법문을 듣던 거를 통해서 주미 씨와 스님들께서 해주신 얘기에 코멘트를 하고 싶습니다. 6조 단경이었던 것 같은데 경은 확실하지 않지만 그 경에서 강을 건넌다는 내용이 있었고요. 마스터께서 강을 건넌다는 것에 두 가지 의미가 있다고 말씀을 하셨습니다. 첫 번째, 강을 건너는 것은 제자가 능력이 안 되기 때문에 선지식이 등에 업고 건넌다는 의미라고 하셨고요. 두 번째 의미는 이제 첫 번째 강을 건넌 사람은 다음 번뇌에 대해서는 본인이 해결하는 것이고 그게 두 번째 강을 건넌다는 의미라고 하셨습니다. 그래서 제가 지금 이해하기로는 주미 씨의 경우에 전 잘 모르지만 스스로 번뇌를 해결하는 경험을 하고 그 능력을 기르는 것을 조언해 주신 게 아닌가 생각합니다.
Master, I want to add some comment to Jumi. I listened to the previous lecture. I'm not sure which lecture sutra it was, but you said crossing the river. So you said there are two meanings in crossing river. The first meaning is that the disciple doesn't have the ability to cross the river, so the good knowing advisor take the disciple to his back and then cross the river. And then once the second meaning is once the disciple crossed the river, then he has the ability to solve his problem. So after that, he has to solve his problem by himself. Mm-hmm. So I think your comment is to help Jumi to solve her problem by herself.
Mm-hmm. And if she cannot, climb on Master O Abbott's back. If that doesn't work, call Master XZ. Don't call me. Let's be clear about this. Okay, very good. Anyone else? Any other comments? JC, of course.
네, 안녕하세요, 마스터. 오늘 법문 중에 마스터께서 열반에 들어가는 것도 배울 수 있다고 말씀을 하셨는데요. 어떻게 들어가는 건지 그리고 언제 배울 수 있는 건지 궁금합니다.
Master, in today's lecture, you said we can learn how to enter nirvana. And how can I enter nirvana? And when can I learn how to enter nirvana?
Good question. Jumi, answer that. I'm just kidding. No. You are being trained to eventually enter nirvana. That's why I'm warning all of you. Enter for fun, but come back for the suffering. Because we're tough. Just notice how I trained Jumi. She spoke too much at suffering. I taught her less, she still suffers. Taught middle, still suffers. You see, it's all suffering. And you no longer are afraid of it. So that nirvana becomes something that's useful, something is pleasant, like going vacation, where you come back. Don't go away. Okay? Because, I'm stressing that because all your training, whether you sit or not, whether you follow whatever you can do, is all geared towards you eventually being able to enter nirvana. That's part of, a very important part of your being able to take care of yourself. We need breaks. We all need breaks. Okay? And that's why this nirvana thing here is just a way of life. We take a break, we go on vacation, and we come back. Because why? Men, why? Because we love our wives and children. Oh, have you been listening? No, she said no. You got that? We're not running away. We have responsibility, folks. As long as we're here, we have responsibilities. Okay? And this training here, all this thing here, you are learning on how to better take care of your responsibilities. Okay? And eventually, Jumi will understand that in order for others to like her, like you're no different. You have to like yourself. In order to love, to be loved, you have to love yourself. If you don't like yourself, people cannot like you, ultimately. You know, I want to you remember that. When you go out to work, go to work on Monday. It's weekend already, right? You go to work on Monday. You remember that. Just because you lie a little, you cheat a little, no one knows. Okay? You think you get away with it? Yes. But you cannot away from your judging yourself. You disapprove of yourself. That's a horrible thing to do to yourself, no matter how much money you can get away with. You can steal, you can con people. You still don't like yourself. It's not worth it. You have to like yourself. That's a long run. You have to like yourself. Don't worry. Jumi someday will wake up and say, okay, I've been tormenting myself because I asked people to like me. You have to do things that you approve of yourself. And use others only for you to correct things you cannot see yourself. That's why others are there for. Don't blame it on me. Okay? It hurts when you do that. I'm like Jumi. So I know exactly what the problem is. When I heard that, oh, I have the same problem. I care too much. Check donation box tonight. See what? Okay, so that's why life is fun, folks. You know, Jumi is improving. You know, I commend her because she's told to do things that she doesn't normally do. Okay, and she did them, and then she came back and said, "Okay, I still have this problem." So it's incremental improvement. That's how it works. Instead of being a victim and say, "Okay, this is me. I am not going to change. You don't like me. Tough luck." We try to learn to be better. Use others' criticism, not liking us, to motivate us to be better so that we like ourselves. What I'm not saying to Jumi is that she doesn't like herself. Okay? All right, we stop here tonight. Thank you, everyone.